Hi everyone, I've started a brainstorm on ants and I've started listing a few things that I know about ants, which is actually not very much now that I've started. They have 3 body parts, 6 legs, they walk in single file. Actually, I wonder if that's always, so I'm going to put that here. That's a question for me. Some of them bite, they live underground, but now I've got lots of questions. Do they have a queen? What do they eat? Do they have antenna? What is their social behavior? Do they make footprints? What size is an ant? Do they move fast and slow, or is it just one speed? So I've got to go and do some research myself so that I understand the topic. I've just put down the side here what resources I might be able to collect on this topic. Is there songs, books? Are there dress-ups? I'm not sure. Is there any plastic ants or pictures of ants that I'm able to get from the centre? Some centres might even have real ants encased in resin, but see what resources there are. And I'm asking myself what opportunities are there for me to do some learning about ants in the home corner, the art corner, with music, outdoors, construction, and there might be others as well. So I'm looking for maths, science and movement opportunities here. So I'm looking at this 3 parts of the body section. I think if I can get some pictures of ants and use them as a provocation to draw, sit down with the children, just start asking questions. How can I draw this ant? You know, how many body parts does it have? How many legs does it have? As we start drawing, we'll be saying, where are the legs? Are they at the front, at the back? Do they come off the middle section? So we're talking about position there, and I'm going to be comparing sizes as I am asking questions like, how big is the head? If I've drawn the head this big, how big does the body need to be, or the thorax need to be? So by sitting with children, drawing, asking lots of questions, we're going to be looking at counting, size, positioning, making some comparisons. So I think that's a nice maths activity, but also we could just ask some questions like, I wonder how many ants there are. Let's see if we can guess by using these stones. If we pretend these stones are ants and we line them all up the same length, would that be the same number of ants? So some interesting challenges for children to be a part of there. Now I've got here that some bite, so I might want to get an ant classification poster because there are lots of different ants in Australia. Some of them give a very painful bite. So if I've got that ant classification poster, we might be able to then make those things in clay, those ants in clay or wire or with boxes, and we're going to get those same maths questions happening there as well. Now we've got to do some movement. So these movement questions that I have, you know, how fast and slow do ants move? Maybe if we've got ants outside, we can observe. If not, we might watch some YouTube videos and then we can pretend to move like an ant. So that would involve some questions to children. How do ants move? Yeah, let's see if we can do that too. Have you noticed that they always seem to be in a single line? Have you seen that? Do you see them in any other way? Let's see if we can do that too. You can play a game. I wonder if there's ant music. That would be worth looking up, or finding some kind of classical music perhaps, or I don't know, does jazz fit in with ants? I don't think so. They would have to look at their movement, see if it's, you know, really methodical or if they're wandering around a bit. But follow the leader games to some ant type music I think would be really interesting there. So that's some movement, and we need some science as well. So I'm wondering if we could set, you know, if we had a book that we read about ants that had some great pictures of what their houses under the ground look like, we could maybe set up a little ant habitat, just asking the questions. What do ants need to live? We need some water, we need some food. What food do they eat? Let's set up our sensory tub or a cardboard box or something to look like ants live there, and we can get some little plastic ants or even some little gum nuts, something that we can use to represent ants, to play with in this little ant habitat. That that idea of what are we going to use to be the ants in our habitat might mean that we have to go and make some ants. If children are not happy with the gum nut idea, they might want it to be closer to what a real ant looks like. Once they've started looking at those photos, they'll have realized it's not just one part of the body, there's 3 parts. I've got this interesting question about what is their social behavior, so that might change the way that we do our movement. So that's 3 activities. If you're very lucky, the centre might have a microscope, which you could, one of those ones that you can take outside and sort of magnify and see on the iPad. But if not, they might have a magnifying glass that you can use to just do some nice observation of ants and just talk about what you see, which I think would fit in really nice with science as well. Have a look in the learning section of the EYLF about learning dispositions. Children find ways to research, gather information. So that might be a nice goal as part of science, doing some careful observation. And you can talk about it, you can sing about it, you can do that drawing about it. So once we've got this, we're asking these questions, we're coming up with our own observations, how are we going to represent that? So I'm looking at my list here. Construction, children might be making those ant houses. If they're outside with you, just looking at ants. Outdoors, I wonder if you could create an obstacle course for these ants where they have to collect food and they follow the trail. If that's what ants do, I'd have to do some more research. They do seem to follow each other. Would they follow this trail around the obstacle course to get the food and take it back to their underground home? Lots of things there. Now, this is just my brainstorm. I wonder, it's very likely that it's just going to be a couple of children that I'm doing this with. I might, I just might, when I'm sitting down doing this drawing, I might just say, I know those children are really good at drawing or love drawing, or I might just say to them, I'm drawing some ants, would you like to come and join me? And for this ant game, walking in a single file, that might be a large group activity. The obstacle course might just be a matter of saying to a few children, I'm going to do an obstacle course, would you like to join me? Who wants to be the lead ant? But again, I've got to do that research and find out more before I can do those things.